Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Well, we were going to bring in Jason for soccer analysis until we realized that he didn't know anything about the sport. So
I'm sad I missed yesterday's episode. That would have been a fun one to talk about. Today's is less fun, Steve. A lot less fun, to be exact.
Look, they didn't play well. I mean, it's simple as that. I think they got away with an okay performance against Bosnia just because they're better, but they didn't play well last night. I mean, simple as that. I mean, Belgium outplayed them. They can do all the little snarky tweaks all you want. You can do snarky tweaks, too, by showing, pictures of Pat, and I'm glad you're not speaking German. So, you could do things like that. But this whole thing, it advanced the sport in the country. Mm-hmm. I thought they could get to the 8 when the thing began.
That was the thought.
Right.
If they can get to the quarterfinals, it's a success.
Right. And so they advanced the sport. It was an exciting month. They made it an exciting month. Mm-hmm. In the end, the last one was a dud.
There are levels to any sport, as we've talked about. And at some point, you face a team who's just better than you. And Belgium is a better team than the U.S. I know people talk about, we're ranked 17th, we're one of the best teams in the world. Yeah, but Belgium's better, and it's an exponential growth. When you get to a certain place in the world rankings, let's say the U.S. is 17th, probably 17th to 12th, and down to 24, they're all in the same group of level. If you get into the 11s and the 10s and the single digits, all of a sudden you're facing teams like Belgium, for instance, who, because of how they had played in the last game, are able to bring Kevin De Bruyne and Jeremy Doku off the bench. Jeremy Doku is one of the best young wingers in the world. Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best midfielders of the past 15 years. Yeah. And they can be like, we're going to bring them off the bench. And Romelu Lukaku, who hasn't played well the past year for his club side, but he's still one of the better strikers in the world. And they can bring them off the bench just casually. And the U.S. can't do that. There are levels to these things, and the U.S. faced a team who was better than them. It helps Belgium that the U.S. played awfully, that there was no good performance on the pitch. I think Malik Tillman was okay, but outside of him, he couldn't give you a positive.
And he was just okay. Look, you have to, and I pointed this out yesterday at the end of the show. Mm-hmm. I said, remember, when they played a friendly back in March, Belgium won 5-2.
Yeah, it was bad.
It wasn't great. My problem with Belgium is all the whining, moaning, and complaining going in. For goodness sakes. Right? I mean, there's been too much complaining about this stuff. And Balogun was okay. He actually didn't appear to be affected by anything. He was fine, but they just couldn't get anybody open. Pulisic didn't play well at all. But Belgium has a world-class goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. I mean, world-class goalkeeper. You knew going in that was an advantage. Mm-hmm. And then, look, the play Freeze made was just terrible. I mean, it's just a terrible play.
The second goal Belgium scored, where it's right after the U.S. All three players sit there and let the ball just drop.
I mean, but I go back to the last matchup of the group stage with Turkey. Mm-hmm. They played the same way on the winning goal. Mm-hmm. You've got to be able. A lot of jogging out there. Mm-hmm. You're playing in the World Cup, which to me is attention to detail has to be. And I thought Belgium's attention to detail was outstanding.
The U.S.
And they played great. I mean, the team that was supposed to win last night won. They were the better team. Yeah. There's just I just can't stomach the whining, moaning, and complaining, and the little snarkiness and things like that. Just knock it off. The guy never should have had the red card to begin with.
No, should have been a yellow, and that was the end of it. Whatever.
Enough. Right, enough. But it's so the right decision is made in the end, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is terrible, awful, incredible." And of course, our media, never defend. Okay, the U.S. gets backhanded a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Because people enjoy backhanding in this country, they enjoy it, right? And there have been incidents on a world stage where the U.S. absolutely got, you have to be kidding me. And when I bring that up, I bring up the 72 Olympics with the U.S. basketball team. Oh, well, that was a long time ago. I said, really? I said, I said, so when you've talked to Doug Collins, have you, well, I've never met Doug Collins. I said, well, I've talked to Doug. I said, not a few times, a lot. Okay? Right? He's still alive. Right? And guess what? The silver medal sits in Switzerland. It's in their wills. It is not to be taken out by a family member at all. It's in the will. It is not to be touched. Right? Because they thoroughly, completely got ripped off. Okay? Ripped off. And they aren't the only ones over time. Okay? So the U.S. gets a break on a bad call to begin with. And you've got people like, well, this is the, just knock it off. Right? I mean, I'm sick and tired of the, right? If it were egregious and he deserved a red card and was reinstated, I'd be the first one to say he should not play. Okay? But it wasn't. Right? They made it up as they went. There was no call on the field. Right? And then they go to VAR and like, well, you know, it's like, what are you doing?
May I? So I wish I was here yesterday to talk about this because I was very excited to discuss this whole topic here. And it's still kind of being talked about today. Of course, we're talking about it right now. Firstly, now you see whenever I say VAR is terrible, now you see why, Steve Jones. Now you see what I talk about, which is the re-refereeing of football. It is constant. It happens in every match. It is a problem and an issue. And it finally reared its ugly head in a major way with the U.S. to where it was on the world stage at that point. In the group stages, it was a big issue at certain points. But in the round of 32, all of a sudden it's a monster problem because the U.S. loses their striker in the match. It happens. We go from there. We move on. I do not believe Balogun should have been reinstated. And my reasoning is it's never been done before. It's also a crazy thing to have happen. And if they were going to re-referee that and give him unsuspend him, they should have suspended other players for other challenges they've made. And that has not happened.
But Ronaldo played.
But my point is,
Ronaldo played. Ronaldo should have been suspended for the first two matches of the group stage.
I know he should have.
I'm just telling you, it's not unprecedented.
Truthfully, that would have helped Portugal. But it did not. So all of this to be said, I think FIFA is very lucky the U.S. lost this, because if the U.S. had won and Belgium had lost, this would have been a even bigger issue, an even bigger talking point, because it would have been a story that, like, today it's going to be the final day of it being talked about, but if it had gone on until tomorrow and the next round, all of a sudden it's like, well, he shouldn't have been playing in the first place, and Belgium would have really made us think about this, and this would have been a real issue.
Well, first of all, I've been consistent about this. As you know. I know. No, I'm talking about consistent in a different way. For the last 3-4 years, I've said that targeting in college football, okay, and the absurdity of if it happens in the second half of a game, you have to miss the first half of the next game. I've said consistently that on Monday, the conference should review all targetings that were called on the weekend in a conference game. You can't do it in a non-con, but in a conference game to determine whether A, it really was correct, and B, if it really was egregious to warrant a suspension. I've said that. Yeah. So there's no inconsistency as to how I look at this as opposed to how I've already talked about that in an American sport here. Because right now it's an automatic where you get suspended. I mean, Cam Brown played in a bowl game, played in the Outback Bowl, was called for targeting on the sideline, had to miss the first half of the opening game the next season. Like, really? Like, we have to serve this how many months later? I mean, so I've talked about if you're going to have the use of video, you need to get people in a room and say, okay, let's all talk about this for a second. Okay? I've seen targetings where they hit the shoulder pad.
Can I give the example that
So that's, I mean, so I have not, I mean, there's no inconsistency on my part. I felt the same way about this.
So I was with some friends watching the match when the U.S.-Bosnia game was going on, and they were asking why it was a red card, and I said, VAR and it has the statement of it's got to be a quote-unquote clear and obvious error to upgrade or change something. If it's a clear and obvious thing, to send the referee to the video or system review. That's how VAR works. You have clear and obvious. Clear and obvious is the exact same as asking the question, what is a catch?
Right.
What is a football move?
Right, exactly.
There's no one can tell you. It's the exact same thing. We're like, it's guesswork.
I agree.
And it's up to everybody's opinion.
That's a good point.
And it's the same thing. So to all the U.S. fans out there saying, well, it wasn't clear and obvious, it's the same as what is a catch and what is a football move.
Right.
And like that's just the problem with it.
Yeah.
There is no definition of what it is. It has been a problem with VAR for years. It's been a problem with catches for years. We've seen it all the time with what is football move. Does a twist upfield, is that a football move? Oh, only had half a step, so it doesn't really count. And it's just like, there's issues and there's inconsistencies. So the game happened. It is wrapped up. I think the U.S. is also partially lucky. They lost to Belgium because they would have gotten torched by Spain.
Right. I will say this about the tournament. The World Cup had a tremendous problem for years with flopping. I have seen zero flopping in the World Cup games I've watched.
Yeah.
Right. Now I've also watched my last one, but I mean, I'm not
like
I might watch the final, but I really like Friday. I honestly goodness, I don't care.
But it is.
I'm sorry. I just
what people we've talked about this of like there is an issue of flopping in basketball and in soccer. There's an issue. Been talked about,
but they've taken it out.
And they've taken it out.
Okay, you don't see flopping in the NBA anymore. You don't see flopping anymore in college basketball, right? And the same thing in soccer. You don't see that anymore. I mean, when I see guys go down, they've been hit.
And so that's the thing is,
or like in Pulisic's case, he went to drive it and he drove his foot right into the guy's ankle, right? But everything's been legitimate contact when guys have gone down.
And can I give you the reasoning, I think, for that? Which is, it's been re-refereed out a little bit, but also, you're playing for pride. You're playing for your nation. You don't want to go in there and look a fool on TV in front of millions of people. You just don't want to do that. And like when you're wearing the Norwegian shirt or the Portuguese kit, like you want to make sure you're playing for your country, you're going all out, and that doesn't mean flopping. Are you trying to earn an advantage where you can? Yes. That'll always happen in any sport. You're always trying to earn the easiest advantage you can get. But it is not as prevalent as it used to be, and it's still prevalent in certain points, but it's a lot more egregious now when you see it. Argentina-Egypt played today at noon, Messi versus Mohamed Salah. Switzerland play Colombia at 4 o'clock. They'll go into that last knockout in the quarterfinal stage.
Yeah.
The quarterfinals, France-Morocco on July 9th. That'll be a really good game. France are really good. Morocco's really good. They're probably the best African team in the world. So we'll see what they can do against France. Spain against Belgium. Spain have not looked good. Belgium have not looked good. Yes, they beat the U.S. The U.S. helped them a lot. It helps when you give them 3 goals pretty much given to them. And then Norway play England, which is what I'm most excited to watch, I think. So Norway just took apart Brazil. It felt like at points, and Brazil are Brazil. So when it happens, it's like, oh, look at that. Something big happened here. So I'm very excited to watch the quarterfinals. But I want to ask you a question, Steve, on the soccer front. So you said it grew in the U.S. I guess my question to you is, like, where does it go from here in America? Because as someone who is a soccer fan, I have hope for it to grow here in the U.S. because there's no reason we shouldn't be, A, better at it, and B, have it be an even bigger fandom than it already is. Like you've seen it with all these European fans, the African fans, the Asian fans, the Oceanic fans coming over, and like soccer culture is just, it's college football. College football and soccer have the same cultures of like it is.
But you just outlined the problem.
Yeah.
Okay? In those countries, That's the only sport they play.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't play basketball and things like that. I don't, but as a primary in all these countries, it is the game. It is the sport. It's not the case here. There's a lot of youth soccer leagues all over the place here, right? And youth soccer has grown exponentially in the country. It's grown faster. Little League has kind of, to be honest with you, has stagnated. But you have a lot of great soccer players that are playing football.
Sports.
You have a lot of great soccer players that probably are playing basketball. You have great soccer players that may be playing hockey or lacrosse. They're not playing soccer.
No.
Right? See, and that's the difference in those countries that we're talking about here. Like, great soccer players play soccer.
Can I give you a piece? I'm curious on your feelings on it. So, the price to entry for so many sports. If you go over to Europe, you go to South America, you go anywhere really, soccer's being played on the street, in courts, in everywhere. It's being played constantly. Yeah. The price to entry is basically, do you have shoes?
Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty much at the worst of it. And even then, you don't even need to have shoes. You can just go barefoot and it works.
Right.
In the U.S., the price to entry for so many sports is astronomically high.
Sure it is. Right.
And if you want your kids to quote-unquote be the best and play against the best, you have to join all these travel club teams. And those costs are crazy nowadays. And so you've got but it's every sport is my thing.
I've never been big on that.
I've never been big on it either because I tried to go and play my high school baseball team, and I got told the reason I did not make it as a sophomore was because, quote, I didn't play on the travel team, so they didn't want to take me.
Yeah.
And it crushed me. I was 16 years old being told because I didn't play on a travel team, I wasn't allowed to make the high school team. So you're saying the price to entry to play in high school was thousands of dollars I had to pay for a travel. And that's what it is for a lot of sports. Where if you don't play on the elite travel teams, you aren't considered serious unless you are the best and they invite you and they pay for everything. If you're a Christian Pulisic, who was given the chance to go to Germany and go play over there with Dortmund, that doesn't happen for everybody. That happens for 1 in a million. Yeah. And the price to get to these places is thousands of dollars. And that can't be. Yeah. If we're going to have the ability to grow not just soccer, but also more baseball players and more basketball and more football and lacrosse and all the sports, hockey. Right. It is expensive to play sports. Why is that? Why? It just shouldn't be. Sorry for going on my get on my pedestal here.
Between Jason and this guy here, I mean, they're a therapist that make a lot of money per hour. I have to sit here. I do a lot of listening.
You do a lot of listening, Steve Jones.
Anybody? Could you go out and get some cheese? Yeah. Go with his wine. No, but first of all, you're absolutely right. So it's not. There's nothing wrong. I remember when in 2014, Otto Porter played for Georgetown. Otto Porter was a first-round NBA draft pick. He was all Big East. And what made it so unusual is that Otto Porter's dad didn't want him playing AAU basketball. So he wasn't in the AAU circuit. Right? His father says, no. Right? That's what made it like, wow, how did he possibly advance, on his own talent to get here? I've never been really in favor of travel teams. Look, anybody can live their life any way they wish. Anybody can raise their children any way they wish. It's not up to me to tell somebody what to do. But I've never been crazy about this stuff, right? Whereas I remember I know of people that took vacations, and their vacation was their son playing in a baseball tournament or a softball tournament. Or a soccer tournament, right? I'm like going, he's in a vacation, like just going someplace and getting away from everything. I mean, I'm just okay. And I would say, I appreciate how much you're throwing into your child, But then you start getting into the systematic issue of what you just talked about, where you weren't on a travel team and it was held against you. Well, first of all, isn't it up to you to elect whether to be on a travel team? And isn't it up to your parents whether to elect to have you on a travel team? In other words, you're telling me poor kids can't be on a travel team? Poor to lower middle class kids can't be on a travel team? Who knows how much great talent we're missing in high schools and so forth because somebody has that standard. Right? Excuse me. That's why you have tryouts.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Guess what? Tryout, like, you know what? That's why you have eyes. We're too much of an analytics world. So they've developed analytics on these kids by travel teams. Meanwhile, this guy over here can hit, field, run, but he's not on the travel team. Well, I'm going to, guess what? I don't care. You're cut. You're in. Mm-hmm. Right? My eyes tell me that, you actually know how to play. And that's, and soccer is like that too in this country. Travel teams, you got to be on the travel team to work your way up. It becomes a culture. You've got to work your way through the culture. It's like, you've got to go to, you've got to go to this camp, that camp. You got to go to the Manning passing camp. You got to do this. Okay, great. And I realize people are trying to get noticed. I do understand that.
But there's got to be a better way. So the Aspen Institute, through the Project Play initiative, found that average American families spend $1,000 over that annually on children's primary sports. Some spend up to $35,000 per year due to the rise of travel teams, equipment, private coaching, mandatory out-of-state tournaments, and more. If it costs $1,000 a year for a kid to play a sport, what are we doing? Right. I remember for me, it cost money to register to play in the local baseball league, but it was like a $10 or whatever it was, and it was all it went back to basically give make sure we have umpires and all of that, which that's whatever. Right. But that was the only price. It was just to play in the local rec league. It was a price. It's that entry point, and then if you need a glove, they'll find you a glove, and there's bats you can borrow from everybody else, and it works. But if you're spending $1,000 a year on average to play a sport?
Look, when I grew up, and of course it's a long time ago, all right, there weren't travel teams.
No.
So, what we did? We would go down and we would play on the Little League field in the off season in pickup games. Mm-hmm. We would play pickup basketball. Mm-hmm. We would play pickup, touch football. Things like that. We didn't play tackle football. And then when you finally got to junior high, you'd try out for the respective teams. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then go from there. And then eventually, if things worked out, you'd play in the high school team, but you'd have to try out for that too. But that's what we did. We played pickup sports. Mm-hmm. We'd get on our bikes.
You'd ride to a field.
We'd ride to a field. Sometimes it was a mile away. Maybe a mile and a half away, but you're on your bike. Different time. We had a dirt basketball court in our neighborhood. We played pickup basketball every night, adults and teenagers playing against each other. And just right. And there was a dirt court that was 3 houses down. Every 6 o'clock every night, we'd go and play, we'd play maybe 3-4 games in a night to 15. Bum bum bum, done. Whole thing. Football, we'd play under a street lamp sometimes. Mm-hmm. Right, on the street, because it'd be two-hand touch and things like that. We wouldn't have to worry. That's what we did, right? We'd go to a pond. Okay, the pond eventually got removed, by the way, because they put a rink in, right?
But the pond would freeze over, and you'd play hockey.
We'd play hockey on the pond. Well, they took the pond out, built the rink, and guess what the rink, of course, meant? Organized hockey, and of course, it really helped right away that Craig Janney was one of the first guys to come out of it. Because Craig Janney grew up one street over from me, right? He was one of the first guys to come out of it this guy's really good, and ends up being a first-round pick and his 12-year NHL career mostly with the Bruins, right? But that then gets the youth hockey part going because all of a sudden you've got a product of it that makes the league. Mm-hmm. Well, now, guess how many guys have made the league out of that youth hockey program since? None. All right, so So a lot of people wasted a lot of money traveling all over the place, and it's like that. It always like I know back when I was coaching baseball, basketball, and look, my whole thing was just playing guys, and like I never coached a game ever where I played the guy the minimum. Never. Right? Now, when it came into situations, would you play situations to win? Hey, we need to steal a base. We got to bunt a guy over something, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Pitcher may be getting tired. Let's take him out. That's situational stuff. But in terms of like playing kids, I'm sorry. I made sure I played every kid.
Everyone got at least 3 innings. Was kind of the number.
All the time. I made sure they got 3 innings no matter what. And if I could get everybody 4 innings by working the lineup, because I thought it was important that they played. I always tell the story about this. God bless this little guy. Right? I'd say maybe slightly autistic, right? And he wanted to play second base. Okay. So I put him at second base. In the inning, every ball was hit to second base. And the poor guy, I was like going, oh, okay. Because it's not like, I don't care how many runs are being scored. Okay, that's nothing to do. I felt bad for him. I'm like, I can't believe this. Right? Because they're all right-handed hitters. I got him at second base. So I moved him the next inning to right field, right, to protect him. Okay? 4 balls got hit to right field. I'm like going, oh. So the third inning, I moved him to left field since everything's been going the way. I'm trying to protect. I'm trying to somehow get confidence for him. Okay? It has nothing to do with the winning and losing. My heart's breaking. I'm trying to coach this thing. My heart's breaking for this little guy because he's trying his guts out, but everything, he's like a magnet. I moved him to left field. First 3 hits of the inning go to him. I'm like going, I'm thinking to myself, God, I'm living wrong. All right? And you know what? That was a game. As the season went, okay, he got better. He worked hard, the whole thing. One day, this was like maybe 10 years ago, he comes up to me in the grocery store, hugs me. He says, Coach. Yeah. I thought the world of that, but like winning and losing, I mean, you coach to win situations and things like that because you're trying to give that. I could care less if they win or lose. I care that they win for them. All right? And that's all I cared about. I wanted them to be successful for them. Right? I never got in the car and went, oh, what a great game I coached. Who the hell cares about that? It's like it was all about them, and then they do the travel team thing at the end. And I did coach travel teams. Okay, and I'm talking, when I mean travel teams, like we went down to Huntington, we went over to Clearfield, we went over to Petersburg, That's what I mean by travel. It was all like within
an hour.
Yeah, it was like when the season was over, and I had a player, and father got upset, that he wasn't selected for a travel team. And I looked at him, I said, I'm not going to mention the father's name because great guy, great
name was
guy.
Jason Lord.
No, but I said to him, I'm sorry, but I said he only hit 121 this year. I said I kind of couldn't really justify getting him on a team. All right. So I got the lecture and the whole thing. I said, okay, I'll do what I can. So I got him on it. I did. I got him on like the second team or whatever with that. And he had, and I remember we played them at one point, and he had a great game against us. And the father's like, "See, I told you." I said, "No, I'm thrilled for him." But like when you do the travel team thing, like I'm talking like travel,
team.
like the all-star team.
Yeah.
First one, you are gung ho and set to go. Hey, all right. Second weekend, you're like, okay, well, let's see how we do. Third weekend. God, if we could lose 2 today, be over with. Right. But then you get out and you start coaching the game, and then you coach the game. You're like, oh, okay. Right. But like all these people travel all over the country now in this stuff.
And
it just doesn't make sense to me.
These leagues, it's like you're not like an all-star league where it's a summer thing. Because I've played in the all-star leagues in baseball, and that was always really fun. It was always you'd play towns nearby, and then there was a state tournament, but that's that's an all-star thing. That's a different style.
Absolutely.
But when it's during the season and you're being told, hey, we're playing tonight, and it's, let's say, we've talked about this. Let's say I'm in Cheshire, Connecticut. Or let's say I'm in State College. You're in State College. Like, oh, tomorrow we're gonna go play in Harrisburg, and then next week we're gonna go play in Erie. It's like,
or you might be going to Louisville.
Or you're going to Louisville. Or hey, this week we're going. By the way, we're flying out to Indianapolis to go play there. Yeah. It's like, at what point is it hurting? It's hurting the kids. Okay. I'm just gonna say it. It is hurting development of the personalities of these kids and these teenagers, because you're doing all of these things, and these parents, you're pouring all this money, and they love the sport, but it drains the sport. It drains them of their love of the game. As someone who played youth baseball, like, I loved it.
In baseball general, yes, it does.
My baseball is my favorite thing in the world. If I could go back and play baseball like when I was a kid, I want to. I want my coach to bring a tennis racket out and a tennis ball and hit it sky high to catch the pop-up, and if we do, and if we all catch it and throw it on home, if we all nail it, we get free ice cream for the day. Like, whatever the thing is. Mm-hmm. Like, that's fun. But then, all of a sudden, you get a coach who swears at you. You're a 9-year-old getting sworn at by a coach. It's terrible. But the coach is like, I want you to be better, and you're better than this. And he swears at you, and he cusses you out. And then you're being told to travel to these games. You lose the fact that you're, like, with the players and with the people that you grew up with playing all the time. And, like, you look at, I'll give you an example. LeBron James. Him and his high school teammates had played together for years because they grew up and playing in the same leagues growing up and just basically stayed together at the same high school and all this stuff, and are still great friends today. Yeah. And you don't see that now. Like, you see it where these kids have, like, oh, I played 1 year at Montverde in basketball, and I played with this kid 2 years ago at Spire. And I'm like,
I know.
There's a piece of sport that's being lost.
I'm at IMG. I'm at Mount Bird. I'm whatever the hell the one that is in Virginia.
Yeah.
Right. I never, in all the time that I did coaching between basketball and baseball, I never one time saw a coach mistreat a kid on any team. Not even close. I mean, the people I around were all really, because we'd have to do draft meetings and things like that when it starts, and they were all just really good people, and because there's no place for that. Okay, there's no place for that. For people who see me do this a long time, I think people know that the great sports writer Peter King and I grew up in the same town, and we played in the same Little League team. And we quote won a championship. Okay, great, all right, which is fine. And I was talking to this a few years ago, and Peter coached Little League at one point, but he had daughters, and his daughters played softball, and he coached softball in Montclair. And we were talking one day on the phone, and we were both talking about how we coached Little League. And we did exactly the same way, where we played everybody as much. I mean, and he was maybe more exact than I was. He was trying to get it so everybody had the same innings when the season was over with. I just kind of did it like
by feel.
Right, along the way. And the reason we did it was because of the guy that coached us. Right? The guy that coached us was, oh, darn, I've got to put you in for 2 innings. Right? Well, when we played in the same team, I was the darn, I got to put you in for 2 innings. Because he's 1 year older than me, so he was the older player. We played the same position. We both played first base. Right? Now, I would have too. I mean, he was a terrific hitter. Right? But it was like the team won, but neither one of us looked at it as a great experience at the ages 11 and 12 at the time, right? I mean, we look back on it, and we both coached completely different than this guy coached because of him.
Yeah.
Like we both, I mean, it was amazing how we both came to that conclusion. And he covers the NFL, he covers the Giants, he covered the Bengals, the whole thing. I'm covering Penn State, college football, college basketball. So we're in stuff where like there are stakes every single game, and this is the highest levels and the whole thing. And when it came to youth sports, we both had the same conclusion as to how to do it. It wasn't what we were covering, and it was 180 of how we were coached when we were playing the game. 180 of it.
And that's why having a coach who cares about you matters, because you have those coaches. I had coaches.
Yes.
That I was a 9-year-old, and he cussed out our whole team because we lost a game. We were undefeated, but we lost one game. We lost one game somewhere towards the end of the regular season, and he was like, how dare you lose? And he cussed us out, and we were 8, 9 years old. He, of course, was then booted out of coaching in the league because parents were like, hey, you swore at kids. It was a problem. But that happened. He's booted out. But then inversely, you said that the kid you coached later came up to you and hugged you and said, hi, coach.
Yeah.
I have a coach who is my favorite coach ever, Coach Chris. And he knows, as we've talked about this, I still call him Coach Chris. He's the dad of one of my friends, and he'll say, don't call me Coach Chris. And I'm like, I'm never not going to call you that. Like, it's the, like, I can remember all of those practices and all those games. And, like, yeah, we loved winning, but that wasn't the end all be all. The end all be all was making sure we had fun and learned and understood and respected one another. There was never arguing. It was always, let's figure this out and hash it out. And it was talking through everything. And, like, if I ever get to coach a youth sports league, I'm going to coach like he did, because I can remember all of it. And I'm like, the joy I had and the fun it was, and the fact that, like, yeah, I wanted to win, but it never got to a point where everyone was angry at each other when we were either 7 years old or 14 years old. It didn't matter how old you were as a kid growing up. It was like, we want to win, but we want to have fun doing it.
I'll never forget, I had a parent come up to me and say, I don't understand why you're yelling at the kids. I said, I'm like, yelling at the kids? I said, what are you talking about? He says, I saw you, like, you're yelling at the outfielders. I said, oh. I said, there's a difference between yelling at them and yelling to them. I said, when I'm telling them to move over maybe about 10, 20 steps over, I said, that's the only way they can hear me. I said, they're too far away. And she looked at me and she said, oh, I'm really sorry. She says, yeah, okay. He says, that's, I said, the center fielder can't hear me. I said, the left fielder, I said, I don't have to say too much. I said, we're on the third base side. I said, but right field, center field. She looked at me and says, oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't really think of that.
And they're not paying attention. They see an ice cream truck go by, and they're like, oh, look at that ice cream. What do I want from there? Oh, look, my coach is pointing at me. Why is he pointing at me? And, like, that's the inner dialogue of a kid. But that's the point, is coaching and all of these fun things. A piece of the soul of who athletes are is being lost by the fact that the point of entry to all these sports is so expensive, and it's all predicated around travel sports now. And the youth leagues, the things that everyone grew up playing, it no longer exists. You can't just play with your friends and play with your community. You have to play in these travel leagues where it costs thousands of dollars and hours and days of time and weekends and months of time.
Well, you know what? Coming up at the end of next month will be the start of high school football season. And you now have players that transfer high schools. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. You also have players that will go to instead of public, they'll go to a parochial school, right? And you can be recruited to do that. Okay. And it always bugs me when I see that. And here's the reason why it bugs me. And again, this goes back to my youth and growing up. Like, we played for our high school in our town. And there's always been something special about playing for your town.
It's the same feeling you get with when you represent your country, of like, you're representing the U.S. So in this case, you're representing where you're from. You're representing State College. You're representing Cheshire, Connecticut. Like, you're representing you. and where you live and all of it. And
it's high school.
Yeah.
Now, if it turns out you're really good and they're going to recruit you, great. And if you can get to the next level, great. I mean, our quarterback, for example, my junior year in high school, he was really good. He ended up going to UConn. His teammate there was Kirk Ferentz, right? Right? At UConn, right? But Joe was a terrific quarterback. Joe Dippo was his name. Terrific quarterback. Okay. The next year, we actually had a better record without him and had nobody on the team that played college football. Maybe they played at a small school someplace, but we had nobody on that team that was recruited. And we actually had a better record. All right. But we still represented our town. We had one other high school in our town at the time. It's only down to one now, right? Because the population's changed there. But that's who you represented. So when we'd go to play East Hartford High School, they represented East Hartford.
Yeah,
we represented Enfield. All right, and to me, that's a Friday night here. High school football here, compared to where I grew up, is a different ball game. And I figured that out as soon as I moved here. Like, holy mackerel, this is a big deal. And we only played once at night in the years I played. Like, here, Friday night, you represent your town. Town comes out. You're okay. Parents of the band come out. Parents of the cheerleaders come out. The parents of the color guard come out. The parents of the players come out. And the people who just like high school football on a Friday night come out to see town play town. And now, I realize they've had to regionalize high schools. I mean, I do realize that.
Yeah, that happens.
But that's, but then you start getting into the playoff thing, which I agree with. Yeah, I've always wanted to, I'm fine with playoffs.
Yeah.
But I also think they need to separate the parochial schools from the public schools. I mean, because it's an unfair advantage. Right? And you feel like I can understand somebody wants to go to a parochial school because they want to get the religious education to go with it, that part. But that's not the case with all the athletes. It's not the case with all of them. Some of them, yes, but not all of them. And I'm like, no.
Can I give you a fun, one last Cheshire, Connecticut reference for you?
Sure.
The 1984 Cheshire State Championship baseball team. Two teammates on that team were Brad Osmus and Brian Leach.
There you go.
Two soon-to-be players in pro leagues. Osmus, of course, catcher. Brian Leach, a defenseman in the NHL.
But Leach went to Avon Old Farm Prep.
He did. But he played at Cheshire High for 3 years until he went as a senior to Avon Old Farm, because that happens. And that's part of the weirdness of it all, as you just talked about.
And it makes you mad. I knew that.
It does not make me mad. But our point of agreement here is it's a thing. Sports are a losing part of it. So there's a lot of.
Oh no! It just yesterday. The Royals clobbered the Phillies 15-1
against Mr. Christopher
Sanchez. So in a hot take world, I just got an article from The Athletic.
Oh gosh,
did Sanchez hurt his Cy Young chances?
It's one game.
Okay, it's July 6th. Okay, you got 3 months to go. 2.5 months. Did he hurt his chances with that game? I don't know. I could see some voter in October. Hey, remember that game in July? It was 15-1. Really?
I want to.
I swear. I mean, we've got. We got big problems.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the way things are covered these days, we've got big problems. There's no common sense. It's I want to throw a headline out there and somebody's going to read it. I'm not going to read that. Who the hell cares? It's stupid.
I have a question for you, and it's along the high school front of sorts. And I know there's only so much you can talk about, but I wanna ask you about.
I can't talk about any of it. Go ahead.
But I want to ask you about just the general, because we talked about basketball, high school recruits are less and less being brought into these programs unless you're the best of the best. Like, of course, your Darren Petersons, your Cam Boozers, like you're getting recruited at the Yin Yang and all this.
Yeah.
In football, how big is it to still be recruiting in your state and to be going after the best players in your state? Because I saw this with Syracuse. My good friend, someone I used to work with, Mike McAllister, up there was talking, and he mentioned that there was almost an expectation that Fran Brown had to start recruiting for Syracuse in the state of New York, and he's been able to, and it's almost been a check mark, like he had to do it. And I feel like there's almost like that expectation with Matt Campbell now, and like I get why. Like Penn State's the biggest school in Pennsylvania, and it makes sense. But how big is it to be recruiting in your state, and like especially today, where a lot of fans aren't fans just of the school in your state because it's there. They're fans of other schools because they grew up watching other programs and watching other things, and they might be fans of other teams. Like, what is that like now? I guess is my question to you, because I'm curious how this works.
Everything goes in cycles. There are some years where your state has a depth of talent. There are other years where the depth of talent's very thin. And it's more so now because for northern schools, over the years, the population has shifted south. Doesn't mean we still don't have 11 million people in the state or whatever the number happens to be. All right. And you also have an issue with the number of players that are going out for teams. Like, because the numbers kept dwindling down. Now they've gone back up a little bit, but it's not like it used to be, where you have like, man, we got 60 to 80 kids out here for the football team, and that's great. It's not like that. Between A, double, triple, quad, 6, 5A, and things like that, sure. But it's important to get as many of the quality players in your own state. You don't just recruit your state to recruit it. Right? You can't do that. I'll be frank with you, that's always been one of the issues at Pitt. All right? Pitt for years was always like, look at all the Western PA guys we got. Right? And we beat out Penn State to do that. And then I talked to the Penn State staff, and they say, well, there's like, they signed 15 kids. They said we got the 3 or 4 we wanted. You know what I mean? I mean, that's how they looked at it. In other words, they actually signed a bunch of kids. Like, it doesn't mean that once in a while they didn't get a kid that Penn State wanted. I mean, Penn State, like DeMar Hamlin, who's with the Bills, and we all know about his story. Penn State wanted him. It turned out he went to Pitt. Okay. That happens. But they would get vast numbers from Western PA. And then I'd talk to Tom Bradley or I'd talk to Terry Smith, and they're like, like the 2 to 4 kids we got were the ones we actually really wanted. And then they'd spit out. And believe me, they wouldn't like sugarcoat it. They'd say that kid there that they signed, they said, we really wanted that kid. Right? And it just didn't work out. They said, but the other ones we wanted, we got. Right? So it depends on, how deep your state is in a particular year. And it also depends on money. Right? If somebody is offering more money, because this has become, until the rules change, it is now, in some cases, the swing
factor is money.
Factor is the money part of it. And, I know who you're referring to, and I have no idea, zero, zip, zilch, how the recruiting went on that at all. None. Zero. I never even asked anybody about the young man.
And we're not going to talk about it.
No, but I'm saying, but I never asked about him at any point. So I can't tell you what the thought process was or anything like that. Look, there's so many times I quote Joe, and because Joe was right about so many things. And Joe Paterno always said, he always told the staff, don't worry about who we don't have. Just worry about who we do have. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So explain.
So in other words, like, that's my roster. Let's worry about getting these guys better. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, the portal is there too. See, it's a multifaceted way of doing things now. Matt Campbell and his staff have been here 7 months. Mm-hmm. That's it. So they're working to establish relationships with high school coaches across the state, which is really important. Mm-hmm. Right? Having the camp up here, really important. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's fine. So you do this. But at the same time, you're going to have some where the money is the driving factor.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. Everybody's trying to take care of themselves along the way. I mean, some of these guys may make more money now by playing college football than they will, for over 15 years of a working life.
And that's what I think people sometimes forget is the number is 1.4% of NCAA participants transition to the NFL.
That's
play
right.
in college football.
That's right.
1.4%.
Right.
So if you take,
I'd say 3% of Power 4.
So 3% of Power 4.
It's like 2.5 to 3% of Power 4.
So literally 2 or 3 people out of 100 are going to go play in the NFL.
Right.
The rest of them aren't going to. They're not going to go make all the millions of dollars you associate with the NFL and with professional football that everyone thinks about. And if you're being offered, let's say, $500,000, like, that's a lot of money.
But you also do not, in any way, shape, or form, cut off the pipeline with said individual. You do not get negative with them. You don't get upset with them or anything like that. You just kind of like, okay, hey, because guess what? After a year or two, they may go back in the portal and they may want to come back home. All right. Yeah. And it happens all the time. Nolan Rucci went to Wisconsin. His brother Hayden was out there as well. Nolan Rucci played his last 2 years here at Penn State. Right? And we've seen guys come back, right, and play here that are from the state. So it's not. So recruiting your state is important because you are able to. It's easier to recruit in state only because you can go see them in state and have a presence in state. Matt Campbell has not been to an in-state high school football game here. I don't know, right? Because he certainly wasn't, I mean, his staff was down at the state championship game.
But this fall, he might be able to actually go to some games.
They'll be out there, and they'll be out there looking at games and being around kids. I mean, and that's the way it is. Look, but, for example, they just got a linebacker from the state of Oklahoma. Now his brother's on the team, but that was a big get. Okay, well, guess what? That's not a small get. That's a big get. But he's not from Pennsylvania either. But they had an established relationship with the family, right? And and you have to be able to establish relationships. That takes a little bit of time, and it gets accelerated when you take a new job because you've got to accelerate the timeline to establish the relationships.
Thank you for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, a 7 Mountain Media production. Come back at 11 every weekday for analysis of the latest happening in the sports landscape. From college football to European soccer, Steve and Kyle cover it all on Sports Talk with Steve Jones.